touch controls are for the weak. The OpenRock S2 are for the true believers, the buttonophiles. Our time is now.
Namaste, we're DHRME, dudes having really magnificent ears. This video is sponsored by OpenRock. Look, for me, OpenRock has always been about good buttons. All their products, right from the OpenRock X, the most expensive, the OpenRock Pro, which was released quite a while back, have this theme of buttons running through them, and you guys saw it on the thumbnail. Let's focus on the OpenRock S2 in this video, which is kind of their lowest budget product right now. It comes in two colors to begin with. They have a black and a white, and they have this kind of speckled, shiny look on the case. I don't know, it's kind of unique.
I was kind of bored of black cases. But as you were telling this, intro, I was thinking they're actually one of the few that started with buttons.
And they've stuck to them for most models.
For most models, yeah. And we'll get to the controls and all of that in a bit. But yeah, love the case. It's very pocketable. It's slim, as you can see on the table. The others are not quite the slimmest form factor, but these are. And apart from that, the buds, if you look at them, are super minimal looking, right? There's very little branding. There is the OpenRock branding at the piece at the back of the ear. But otherwise, I have them on right now. You don't quite notice them. They're not as loud as the other ones.
Yeah.
Especially the OpenRock X.
Yeah. OpenRock X is a statement piece. And this one, I think it's nice that they didn't use that shiny bit on the ear to brand it. It looks just like black and shiny, and it's nice. Nicely done.
Now, talking about those buds.
Yes.
They can be used for workouts. Obviously, that's one of the biggest use cases. And they are IPX5 rated, so they're fine for all the water resistance that you'll probably need. Just keep it away from dust. How they fit you?
Yeah, that's interesting. So first off, these are very light. Super light earbuds. Very small kind of footprint overall. And they fit me fine, I guess. Only thing is, the way the design is, the round piece, it kind of rests on a part of my ear, which it kind of bobs a bit, I guess. So I guess everyone's ears are different, but I think you had a similar experience.
Correct. Yeah. So this thing, it bobs a little bit on top of my ear as well. And so it's really important to kind of hook it in and twist it so that it stays there. And a little bit of sweat helps too. So when you are working out, that kind of helps it stay in place. But apart from that, one part, the rest, it's super lightweight, so you don't actually notice that you have them on,
and
which I really like.
The hook itself, which is important for hook style, is very thin.
Yeah. Also wear them with glasses.
Yeah. Which means even with the Ray-Ban Metas.
Oh yeah, those chunky glasses.
You can kind of wear them, and it doesn't really interfere with.
Correct. And what I also like was put the battery unit in the piece in the back and the speaker unit in the front, which helps balance it nicely. So it doesn't feel front heavy or back heavy in any way. It just has a nice balance to it, which I like.
Of course, the most unique part of this, like all these three OpenRock products we have here, is the fact they have buttons, but the buttons are now in a different place.
Yeah.
And like you said, the battery bit is at the back. The buttons are also there. So.
Yeah. It's positioned at the bottom of that barrel. So actually, when you have it on your ear, you're pressing it like this, which I initially thought was not intuitive. But once I started using it, I was like, hey, it actually works. Because the problem with having buttons on the earpiece is that when you're listening to things, it's changing your audio all the time, right? And you're pushing it on top of your ear, which is not a pleasant experience. So it's kind of nifty that they've put it at the back.
Yeah, and when you press it, it's not affecting your audio, but also your other finger has something to grip onto.
Yes.
You're not just going like this, but you're going like this, which is much more pleasant indeed. So now looking at those button controls, the good thing is there is some amount of customization there. It's not like the most customizable thing ever. Only the long press can be customized, but you do have single press, double press, triple press as well. So I think pretty much all the controls you need.
Yeah. You can do your volume controls, which is very important for me with these open ears, because every time you're out or you're inside, your ambient noise changes. And so you're trying to compete with that volume. And so, adjusting your volume is something that you're going to do very often. There's voice assistant for that long press that you can configure. There's track control, which is that double press and triple press. And there are call controls. Segue.
Yes. Take a listen to some call samples and we'll be back after the break. All right, so this is the OpenRock S2 in quiet conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Popsicle, ice, icicle, test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to have the OpenRock S2 in breezy or windy conditions. Let's go. This is the wind speed in meters per second. Up, ice, icicle. Test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Up. Ice. Test. 3.
In our opinion, quite usable in noisy conditions as long as you are speaking loudly. So don't mumble, don't talk softly, but talk loudly, then you're okay. But you do hear the background noise, so that gets piped in. So keep that in mind. And then in a light breeze, they do fine, but just be careful when the wind speeds pick up. That's when you better go look for shelter and then continue that call because it cannot handle the wind too much. For the Fuckmon, you get answer hang up and you get volume controls.
And you can sacrifice volume control for mute if you like. Which is, I like to have both.
But if you had to choose?
Volume control.
For sure.
Any day, all day.
Should we talk about sound quality?
Let's talk about sound quality. Yeah, there's always a compromise with open ear style buds. It's also clearly present here. I mean, just to set the context, OpenRock X is one of my favorite sounding open ear buds.
Yep.
Not the one we're talking about today. They're the premium one from OpenRock. And these do not compare with that, but it's also half the price. So we have to be realistic. You know, the default EQ that you get with these is rock. And I think the bass on the OpenRock Pro is still better than these. So these are not really the best sounding from OpenRock's lineup. And I thought that the shape of the driver, you know, how it sat in the ear also affects the sound quite a bit.
Yeah.
So if you really push it in, at least if I really pushed it in, I realized that these buds can sound better. But just because of how they sat for me in my ears, this is not the one to buy just for sound quality. I mean, in general, this form factor is not the one. Best you can do is kind of tune it and expect a warm, non-offensive sound. But they do have a lot of extras for sound. So they have an EQ presets, etc. They have a sound balance if your left and right ears are not in balance. And they have a spatial sound feature, which I just turned off.
Okay. Enough said. But OpenRock, they've actually included a few features that prioritize your hearing health, which is nice to see. I mean, they're not the only ones, but an example would be a max volume limiter.
Yeah.
Right? You can set that so you don't go over it. And that's the thing with these open ears, guys, right? You will easily be cranking up that volume. When you're in a noisy environment, you will be listening to music. When you come immediately into a quiet space, you realize how loud your audio is coming through these things.
Yeah,
so it's really good.
You can customize what that max volume is.
Yeah.
I keep it to the middle and it was just fine.
Yeah.
And there's also an overtime wear reminder, which is like volume is not just like I listen to loud volume and my ears are hurting and that's a problem. It's the exposure over time.
You told me this, yeah.
Yeah, and a certain dB multiplied by the amount of time approximately is how I look at it. And they also have an overtime wear reminder. So if you've been wearing it for very long, it gives you a reminder, which is nice.
Yeah. So the buds themselves come with 8 hours of battery life on the buds themselves. That's what's advertised. We tested it, but we tested it on the highest res codec that's available.
LDAC.
Which we missed to talk about, or we missed.
It's open ears. So you get LDAC.
Yeah. Nice. So we tested it with LDAC and we got a little under 5 hours. And because that's the highest res codec, if you put it on a lower codec, it's likely that you'll get more battery life. Now, together with the charging case, you'll get a total of 32 hours.
Yeah.
Charging is via Type-C. Yeah. There is no wireless charging here.
Yeah.
But you do get
fast charging.
Yeah.
5 minutes gives you 1 hour. And I like, I think the challenge for them was they've really shrunk these earbuds down.
Yeah.
And I was wondering how they reached those battery numbers. And I think the most obvious reason I think is Bluetooth 6.0, one of the first products, second product actually we've seen with Bluetooth 6.0. And
that's kind of cool. I forgot that we're in Bluetooth 6.0 times now.
Yes. Yes. And with Bluetooth 6.0, you also get multi-point.
Yep.
But on this particular set of headphones, earbuds, open ears, you sacrifice LDAC.
You do, yeah. There's also an auto power off. So if you're not using them, they will turn off after a predefined time. There's unfortunately no wear sensor, so it won't automatically pause your audio if you take them off. But that's kind of par for the course for these types of earbuds. There are very few that offer that. But one thing that these guys do offer is a remote capture functionality.
Yeah.
And what's nice is that it works on Android and iPhone. You want to explain how that works?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, just imagine you've gone out for a run somewhere and you want to, I don't know, vlog in the middle of that for some reason, or just take a picture.
That's what I do.
That's what you do. So you're on a mountain, you keep your camera far away from you, you know.
Mountains, wow.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
I'm just like going crazy on this. No, but it's essentially you open your camera up, you place it wherever you want, and once you press the button 4 times, it remote captures. So if you're in video mode, it'll start a video and stop a video when you press it again. And in photos, it'll do the same. So there's no kind of configuration in the app to do this. It just functions as a system level shutter button, which is nice. There's no checking, unchecking. You don't have to compromise other button combinations.
Correct.
But yeah, it's just a handy little feature in case you need it.
Yeah.
Once again, the OpenRock S2, they're just under $100 and about 90 euros. And check out the links in the description if there are, any discounts running. But why would you get these? There are so many open ears out there, right?
So that's always a good question to ask. Why would you buy these? For me, man, the first thing that comes to mind are those buttons. I mean, enough said.
We had the merch before we were sponsored.
Yeah. But apart from that, there are a couple of other things that we really like about the S2. You get multi-point. We have multiple devices, so we need that. There's the hearing health features, which we appreciate. We really do. Yeah. This is something that more brands should take seriously. There's more things on the build side of things. 7 grams earbuds.
Yeah.
Super lightweight. You forget that they're there. And if you're not someone who's looking for a statement piece, but something that just kind of disappears, then these are the buds to go for. Because, just black or white, very minimal looking. Blends in.
Yeah, the smaller wire, easier with glasses. So essentially for this product category, I think it does everything it needs to.
Yeah.
It does not sound mind-blowing, but this product category is never going to be mind-blowing for sound.
Yeah.
And overall, I think decent value at $99.
Yeah. Big thanks to OpenRock for sponsoring this video. Check out the links to this product in the description down below, like we said. And a big thanks to you guys, our viewers, subscribers, and our patrons and members, especially these at our tested tier. And
these Fuckman tier supporters, Jay, Rachel, Paula, and Rats Panda. You guys are amazing.
You've been pressing buttons.
And we've been DHRME. Dooey.
Dooey.